We were housed in a trailer out on Ferry Road across from the Northern Illinois Gas Company. I had a cow look in my window every morning. And Ernie Gibson, I don't know if you've heard of Ernie or not, the board would have its meetings over in the Northern Illinois Gas Company building, and I'd make sure that I was there on board meeting nights because he always barbecued something for them, and he'd hand me something through the window, so I'd have supper at night.
We got a store on Roosevelt Road, and that was a very small area, but that was basically our main bookstore. And from there, the proprietor of that property built a building for us. And we used that as not only for a bookstore, but more or less from the standpoint of a library also.
The original buildings, we had J building, we had K building, we had M building.
Well, they were temporary buildings. They only got torn down a couple of years ago, but when they were first built in the late 1960s, they were only supposed to last 10 years and then be torn down, and of course they lasted a lot longer than that.
My office was fortunately right around the corner from the library. The library was in the middle of the building, and we had our offices around it, and then the classrooms were around that.
The office spaces were large enough to fit two people, and it was a nice way to meet new faculty, colleagues, I guess I want to say.
We were performing in the M building, which was a sort of a glorified airplane hangar for all intents and purposes.
No carpeting to speak of. It was just a concrete floor that you walked on, brown or white walls, and some you could see the corrugated metal walls, which was the exterior of the building, since it was a temporary, it wasn't a Quonset hut, but it was about as close to it as you could get.
This was after the building started across on the East Campus, that there were some marshlands or peat bogs or whatever you want to call them over there, and that the story goes that when the first building was built, the west end, east end of it was sinking a little bit.
And for a couple of years after we moved in, the building kept sinking because it was built on a peat bog, and you would come into your office and couldn't get the door open because the building would settle, and that would trap the doors to your office and get it jammed, so you'd have to call maintenance to come and take the doors off the hinges just to get in your office. They finally injected tons of concrete under it and stabilized it, and now it's a nice building. But at the time, there were some interesting days when you didn't quite know what to expect.